Episode 12, Meet Oliver Cowdery. Welcome back to Hidden and Distorted History of the Church, where we uncover the lesser-known truths about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or the Mormons. My goal is to reveal the authentic historical facts behind the Mormon Church. Recap. Last week, we examined the troubling loss of the 116 pages of Lehi by Martin Harris and the devastating death of Joseph Smith's son, Alvin Smith, Jr. This loss drove Joseph to join the local Methodist Church, an act that directly contradicts his earlier claim of being commanded by God not to join any church. This week, we'll delve into the intriguing story of Oliver Cowdery, exploring his connection to the Smith family and his pivotal role in church history. Stay tuned for an eye-opening look at his impact. Part 1, Let's Meet Oliver. Oliver Cowdery was born in Wells, Vermont in 1806 to William and Rebecca Cowdery. When Oliver was 3, his family moved to Poultney, Vermont, following his mother's death on September 9, 1809. His father remarried and had more children with his new wife. During his childhood, Oliver began using a divining rod to hunt for buried treasures. While this could be dismissed as a child's play, it aligns with the treasure-seeking practices of the Smith family. Notably, both the Smith and Cowdery families hailed from Vermont, with Sharon not far from Wells or Poultney. Even more intriguing is the fact that Oliver and Joseph Smith, Jr. were related. They were third cousins once removed, with some reports even suggesting they were second cousins. On the Fair LDS website, addressing the hidden family relationship between Joseph Smith and Oliver Cowdery, the following statement is made. The accusation that Oliver, being a distant cousin of Joseph Smith, makes him an unreliable witness to the Book of Mormon is what is known as an ad hominem attack on the witness's character. The term ad hominem is defined, according to Merriam-Webster, as appealing to feelings or prejudices rather than intellect, marked by or being an attack on an opponent's character rather than by an answer to the contentions made. I and others fail to see where an ad hominem attack is being made on the character of Oliver Cowdery. The fact that the two were related is not up for debate. They were. Fair LDS further states, one can see that accusations that Oliver is an unreliable witness because he is related to Joseph Smith applies both of these definitions. Oliver was indeed a distant cousin of Joseph Smith, but they never met before the Book of Mormon was translated. Those who put forth this criticism attempt to prejudice the reader by implying that this relationship made Oliver unreliable. The fact that they were distantly related has no bearing upon Oliver's reliability as a scribe or as a witness. How does this relationship make him an unreliable witness? What is the conflict of interest? Knowing Smith prior does not inherently make Oliver Cowdery unreliable, nor would it necessarily make him an unreliable scribe. However, it does raise questions about honesty and the potential for deceit. Why is it that LDS members are not taught about the family connection between the Smiths and the Cowderys? The claim that they had never met before 1829 is indeed up for debate. Joseph Smith went out of his way to assert that he and Oliver had no connection prior to April 1829, which raises further suspicions that merit closer examination later on. When Oliver Cowdery arrived in Palmyra, he made no mention of his familial relationship with the Smith family. Why is that? Given that Joseph Smith Sr. and Oliver's father knew each other, it stands to reason that Oliver would have been aware of the connection and who the Smiths were. This omission is significant and raises questions about the transparency and honesty of Cowdery and Smith's dealing. William Cowdery and Joseph Smith Sr. both belong to the same occult movement in Vermont known as the Wood Scrape Club. This group, which started in the 1790s and lasted until the 1820s, engaged in practices and beliefs that were decidedly unorthodox and mystical. This shared history further underscores the deep connections between the Cowdery and Smith families, suggesting that Oliver would have likely known about his relationship with the Smiths long before his arrival in Palmyra. We are also told that in 1799, with the Wood movement gathering momentum, a man named Winchell, who contemporaries claimed was a fugitive and a counterfeiter, arrived on the scene and initiated the group to the use of the hazel rod, a small shrub cut with 2 prongs. From the use of this stick, Winchell and the Woods pretended to divine all sorts of things to suit their purpose. Middletown, Vermont historian Barnes Frisbee recounted, "There we find these men, Joseph Smith Sr. and William Cowdery, with the counterfeiter, Winchell, searching for money over the hills and mountains with the hazel rod, and their sons Joe and Oliver, as soon as they were old enough, were in the same business, and continued in it until they brought out the vilest scheme that ever cursed the country." The connection between Joseph Smith Sr. and William Cowdery within the wood scrape occult movement is crucial. This shared history, in the late 18th and early 19th centuries, not only illustrates a backdrop of mysticism and treasure hunting, but also reinforces the deep familial ties between Joseph Smith Jr. and Oliver Cowdery. The involvement of both families in such activities raises significant questions about their later collaboration on the Book of Mormon. A quick interesting side note: Methodist preacher Laban Clark played a crucial role in exposing the wood scrape frauds, earning the ire of Smith Sr. It's strikingly ironic, then, that the primary villain in the Book of Mormon is named Laban, a direct nod to the very adversary who opposed Smith Sr.'s interests. Moving on now. Oliver Cowdery is reported to have been in the Palmyra region during the spring of 1825, attending one of the many religious revivals occurring at that time. Interestingly, Joseph Smith also claimed to have attended these same revivals. Given their familial connection and overlapping attendance, it's plausible that Oliver and Joseph might have encountered each other or even attended these events together. While it's speculative, it's worth noting that Sidney Rigdon, a traveling minister of the period, had been known to travel in the area as well. Ohio was only a 2-day journey from Palmyra, making it feasible for all these key figures to have crossed paths. This potential overlap could become significant as we delve into events leading up to 1830. The official account of Oliver Cowdery's meeting with the Smith family is misleading. Initially, the Manchester, Ontario NY School Board of Trustees sought a new schoolmaster and offered the position to the Hon. Lyman Cowdery of Arcadia, NY. Lyman, after initially accepting, declined the role, but recommended his brother Oliver for the position instead. The trustees accepted this recommendation and hired Oliver. Interestingly, Hiram Smith, Joseph Smith Jr.'s older brother, was also a member of the Board of Trustees at the time. This connection raises questions about the true motivations behind Oliver's hiring. While there is no direct proof of collusion, the mounting evidence suggests that the familial ties between the Smiths and Cowderys played a significant role in securing the position for Oliver. This connection also sheds light on why Oliver was staying with the Smiths beyond his duties as a tutor. He was essentially extended family. Now let's return to our previous focus and avoid getting too lost in these connections as we continue exploring the timeline. During his stay with the Smith family, Oliver Cowdery was exposed to the stories about the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith Jr.'s purported abilities. Jeffrey G. Cannon, an LDS apologist, recounts Oliver's curiosity was piqued, and he pressed his landlord with questions, eager to learn more about the remarkable claims surrounding Joseph Jr. Initially, Joseph Sr. was hesitant to share, but he eventually relented and disclosed details about Joseph Jr.'s experiences. Oliver, deeply intrigued, sought divine confirmation of these extraordinary claims through prayer. He reported receiving a profound sense of peace, which he interpreted as confirmation from God, validating the stories he had heard. This account underscores Oliver's initial skepticism and his subsequent religious conviction, which played a crucial role in his eventual involvement with the Book of Mormon and the Smith family. Oliver Cowdery, while staying with the Smith family in Palmyra, had been deeply influenced by their accounts of the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith Jr.'s role. As reported, he did not immediately disclose his experience to anyone, but frequently discussed the golden plates, gradually coming to believe that God was calling him to serve as Joseph Smith's scribe. When the school term ended in the spring of 1829, Oliver made his way to Harmony, Pennsylvania, where Joseph was living with his wife Emma, on land owned by Emma's father, Isaac Hale. This account contrasts sharply with the LDS Church's version of their meeting. According to church lore, Oliver supposedly encountered Joseph Smith Sr. while he was working near a fence, inquiring about Joseph Jr. and learning about his work. After praying, Oliver is said to have immediately traveled to Harmony. However, the timeline reveals that Oliver did not leave Palmyra until April 1829, raising questions about the accuracy of the church's narrative. If Oliver Cowdery was indeed divinely called to be Joseph Smith's scribe, why did he wait several months before making the journey to Harmony? This delay casts doubt on the notion of a direct divine mandate and highlights inconsistencies in the church's portrayal of their encounter. Before we proceed, it's crucial to introduce another key figure, David Whitmer. In November 1828, David Whitmer from Fayette, New York, visited Palmyra on business. Although the specific nature of his business remains unclear, this visit led him to meet Oliver Cowdery. During their meeting, Cowdery shared the details he had learned from the Smith family and revealed his intention to travel to Harmony to meet Joseph Smith personally. While staying with the Smiths in the fall of 1828, Cowdery corresponded with Whitmer, sending several letters about his experiences and what he was learning from the Smith family. This correspondence played a significant role in Whitmer's eventual involvement in the unfolding event. Conclusion: this background of shared occult practices and the use of divining rods for treasure hunting casts a shadow over the authenticity of their religious endeavors, suggesting a continuity of deceit and manipulation that culminated in their later revelations. In the next episode, we delve deeper into Martin Harris's story, exploring how he lost the 116 pages of Lehi and examining the fiery temper that defined his character. Please watch for future videos, and thank you so kindly for watching. This is the Ex-Mormon Informant signing off for the day.